Hello everybody, this is me Johan here and this is my battery life review of the Moto One Macro. The Moto One Macro does come with a 720p display, that's a HD plus display, and a pretty big 4000 milliampere battery, and powering this is the pretty powerful Helio P70 processor. So how does its battery perform in real world usage? Alright, to give you guys an idea of my usage cycle, I did make phone calls for 30 to 45 minutes every day. I did do a bit of browsing here and there. I used YouTube quite a bit. I used WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Amazon, Flipkart. I did play games like Call of Duty, PUBG Mobile. I did use Google Maps here and there. I did take photographs. I did use the camera here and there, and I did take videos as well here and there as well. And on top of it, I used 70% of the phone screen brightness full time. Here and there, I did test out the auto brightness sensor as well, but that was very rare. And on top of it, the phone was used on dual SIM full time. In terms of my usage pattern, I must confess to one thing. I use 50% of 4G and 50% of Wi-Fi. I try to balance it out as much as possible. On day one, as you guys can see, I got a standby time of 29 hours and a screen on time of 7 hours and 6 minutes. I must confess to one thing over here. I did restart the phone 2 hours into its standby, and I had got a screen on time of 21 minutes. I had actually checked that out. So my actual total standby time on the first day was actually 31 hours, and my screen on time was 7 hours and 27 minutes. So it's pretty impressive for its first day. On day 2, as you guys can see, I achieved a standby time of 28 hours and a brilliant screen on time of 8 hours and 27 minutes. And just check it out, 16% of its battery was still left. Over here, I made phone calls for only 15 minutes, but I did game for 1 hour. I played PUBG for 30 minutes and Call of Duty again for 30 minutes and all the other regular activities I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So really good screen on time. Keep in mind, if I had actually pushed this phone's battery to maybe 5% of its charge, I would have exceeded 9 hours of screen on time. Halfway into day 3, this is just to give you guys an idea of the actual battery performance of this phone. Just have a look at the stat above. 51% of battery left, 24 hours of standby, and an amazing screen on time of 5 hours and 38 minutes. I had done everything on this phone, including making phone calls for 45 minutes and used all the other apps I just mentioned in the beginning of this video, except do one thing. I did not game till now. So this is just to give you guys an idea. You guys can easily understand through this. If you guys use this phone similarly like how I've used it right now, without playing games, you guys can actually achieve a standby time of 48 hours and a screen on time of 9 and above hours consistently by the time you guys hit 10% of this phone's charge, which is really impressive. At the end of day 3, I had managed to get a standby time of 34 hours and a screen on time of 7 hours and 47 minutes, and still 19% of the battery was left. The second half of this phone's usage cycle on day 3, I did play games. I played both PUBG and Call of Duty. So that's the reason why I've got 7 hours and 47 minutes with 19% of its battery left. But still really good. If I had continued to game on this phone, say until this phone hit 10%, I would have probably hit close to maybe 8.5 hours of screen on time, which is again really impressive. To give you guys an idea, both Call of Duty and PUBG at its high graphic settings consume on an average between 8 and 10% of charge every 30 minutes. Regarding the standby times on this phone, with all the apps closed as you guys can see and both Wi-Fi and 4G switched off, over a period of 8 hours kept on idle, the phone loses just 1% of charge overnight. In the case of keeping apps open in the background and keeping the Wi-Fi on throughout the night, for a period of about 8 hours on standby, the phone tends to lose anywhere between 3 and 4% of charge overnight. To conclude, the Moto One Macro has amongst the best battery life I have ever tested on any phone till date. To keep in mind, this is one of the phones where I really did not have to worry in terms of its battery. Its battery was, as you guys have just seen right now, super solid. I'll give you guys a small understanding about this phone's battery. Using it on 4G, it doesn't matter what you're doing on the phone. It takes close to 8 minutes for the phone to lose 1% of charge. And when you're using Wi-Fi on this phone, it takes anywhere between 8 and 10 minutes, excluding gaming, for this phone to lose 1% of its charge, which is something that is really, really impressive. To keep in mind one more thing, guys, just have a look at this. I used the phone full time at 70% of its brightness. If I had actually reduced the brightness on this phone to say around 40% or 50%, I would have achieved even better screen on time on this phone. This just gives you guys an understanding of how good this phone's battery actually is. It doesn't matter, even if you push it to its limits, it will still give you brilliant battery life at the end of the day. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys loved the video, I'd appreciate it if you guys could give me a thumbs up. If y'all are interested in following me from here on, I would suggest y'all to hit the subscribe button right down there. And right next to it, you will find a bell icon. Go and hit that as well so that you guys get notified with the latest and greatest videos I'll be uploading on YouTube from here on. I'm there on all social media. I'm there on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links to all my social media are there in the description below. So, as it is as always, I wish all of you a tremendous day ahead of you. Ciao for now.